One of the funniest archetypes of people living here on planet Earth to laugh at are the people that like to play these stupid, ridiculous word games and say, oh, I didn't say that. What I actually said was this, where they're just like jumping around and using non-ordinary definitions of things to try and weasel their way out of something. When at the end of the day, we all know what you're saying and we all know what you mean, and you can't hide behind your stupid little word games. Watchtower has been playing a word game for quite some time, where they say, we never ask for donations, we never pass around collection plates, we don't make people donate money, we don't do any tithing, and yet they kind of do. Now, all of this culminates in a recent announcement that went out August 2024, where they are informing people that there's going to be something called a resolved monthly donation, which is just another word for tithing. Let's talk about it. Now, let's go back to the very beginning of Watchtower's foundation and see just how they've progressed in this aspect of asking for donations throughout the decades. When the truth touches the pocketbook, so that such donations are offered without request, without an appeal, without urging, and without collections, it means considerable of love for the Lord, for the truth, and for the brethren. And then they would actually give financial summaries, so that way people could understand exactly how much was coming in and how much was going out from the Watchtower. This society never solicits donations, but it uses voluntary contributions as wisely and economically as possible. Now we have the Good Hopes Fund. This was set up as a way for people to participate in the ministry when they couldn't physically be involved in it. So what they could do was they could contact the Watchtower Society and let them know that it was their intention to provide X amount of money to the society on a weekly or monthly basis. Now, an important thing to keep in mind is that the financials are still very transparent. They were always letting people know how much money was coming in and how much money was going out. After failed doomsday predictions in 1914, 1918, and 1925, the Watchtower leadership decided to take things in a slightly different direction. Instead of focusing on when the end of the world might be, they went on the attack, and they went on a global campaign to mock and embarrass every other Christian group. One of the most powerful tools of the era was political cartoons, and Watchtower jumped right in on the bandwagon and made a host of them. But this one in particular sticks out to me. Yet, not satisfied with voluntary or coerced donations, this devilish organization introduced the Inquisition, the sole purpose of which was to enrich her coffers by confiscation of the wealth. I wasn't able to find the exact date of when they started having contribution boxes inside each and every Kingdom Hall, but I did find in 1941 in their sort of newsletter they would release called The Informant, this paragraph, which was interesting. Each company should arrange for a contribution box to be placed in each Kingdom Hall, marked especially for this purpose. This contribution box can be marked contributions for postage on children study course. Although I cannot say definitively, I believe somewhere around the 1940s is when it became more common practice for Jehovah's Witnesses to see a contribution box in every Kingdom Hall that was marked for very specific purposes. Quickly, before we move on through our timeline, I just wanted to provide a little bit of an update to the video I made last, which was about how Jehovah's Witnesses are going to be studying a children's book at their weekly congregation meetings, and I couldn't find any time where they had done this in the past. But when I was researching this, I did come across this Informant article, which does say that they are going to be studying this children's course over or at their weekly meetings. Now, the only difference with that is they were studying it with the expressed purpose of not studying the children's course, but to study how to study it. So the difference, in my opinion, would be if someone is a sales representative, let's say, for a toy company, and they have to go through a sales training course. And so they need to become familiar with the product so that way they can sell it to others. They're not going there to play with the toys. Well, that is a vastly different from someone going into Walmart or Toys R Us and, picking up a children's toy and then playing with it for their own amusement or what have you. The 1950s brought about the end of the Good Hopes Fund and the beginning of Your Contribution Prospects, which a 1957 Watchtower described as this: "We can show our willingness to put Jehovah to the test in the matter of bringing in material, antitypical tithes by cooperating in the arrangement of Your Contribution Prospects, by advising the Watchtower Society by card or letter as to how much we have reason to believe we shall be able to and should contribute to the Society during the coming year." Further along it says, "Jehovah God does not need our tithes in a material way, not even our spiritual ones, but he has seen fit in his love and wisdom to give us the opportunity of putting him to the test by bringing our whole tithes, both material and spiritual, into his storehouse. To the extent that we do, to that extent we can expect Jehovah to pour out his blessing upon us individually, even as he is doing upon the New World Society as a whole, and so much so that we shall not be able to contain it all. Truly, there is an approved way in which we can put Jehovah to the test, and that to his praise and our everlasting blessing." As the organization continued to expand, there was a need for more kingdom halls to be built around the world. And so, starting September 1st, 1983, there was an announcement that went out that they would have a special contribution box at kingdom halls in America and in Canada that was marked Society Kingdom Hall Fund. This will be familiar to most Jehovah's Witnesses that grew up in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And this transitioned right into the 90s when it became common practice for there to be 3 distinct contribution boxes: one for the worldwide work, one for the Kingdom Hall Fund, and one for the local congregation needs. So as we look down through the decades, Watchtower has maintained a pretty consistent identity when it comes to their relationship with donations. They make fun of other churches for soliciting donations, for tithing. They have their own anti-typical tithing, whatever you want that to mean, but they never pressure people. And if people do want to give, they can set up a arrangement where they can tell the Watchtower Society how much they'll be able to donate every week, every month, or on a yearly basis. And then with the eventual rise of donation boxes, so people could discreetly and privately donate whatever amount that they wanted to. And then, well, all of this started happening.
Welcome to another edition of JW Broadcasting. But now, I would like to address the valuable things that may have first come to mind: financial giving and support. As you know, for over 130 years, this organization has never solicited for funds, and it is certainly not going to start now.
We all like it when someone is generous to us, but what about the other way around? We are to give, but to do so with the right attitude. It said not grudgingly, and when we show such generosity, Jehovah will indeed bless our every deed and undertaking.
Christendom would probably say, well, these are poor people, let's just make it a charity. But you see, Jesus didn't stop the widow from putting the 2 coins in, did he? He didn't say, look, hold on, you need that, you're poor, let the rich people put money in. No, Jesus allowed her to make that donation. Why? Because that was her gift to Jehovah, and Jehovah would bless her for doing that. What can we be happy with? We can be happy with the viewpoint of the governing body, and we can be very happy that the publishing committee of the governing body does look after our limited means. Yes, they care for the money so that when the governing body makes decisions about what needs to be done, they don't say, There's no money for it.
Text reminds us of using our financial means to make friends with Jehovah and Jesus. And even though Jehovah owns everything, seeing us giving, making sacrifices, makes him happy. The result is a close relationship, or in the words of our scripture text, we become friends.
I wish we could help. Me too. Oh, I have an idea.
What is it, sweetie?
Can I give this to our brothers affected by the hurricane?
Of course you can. We'll put it in the contribution box on Sunday.
My piggy bank was empty. I guess I can't help.
There are many things you can do to help. First, you can save some money for next time.
Gone are the days where Watchtower was quiet, reserved, and respectful when it comes to asking for donations or accepting donations, and in place we have this absolute circus. Since the inception of JW Broadcasting in 2014, they continually, and I mean continually, are asking for money in a very televangelistic way, where previously they were antagonistic towards other religions. Now they have fully accepted that that is the best model to maximize profits. Get on a camera and beg your audience for money. I think one of the funniest examples of this has to be from the now deleted Tony Morris from the governing body, where he gave a talk trying to come up with one of these word games, as I said at the beginning, where he's trying to say we're not begging for money, we're just talking about it. Listen.
Now, the fact is we never beg for money, but that's not to say we can't talk about money in Jehovah's organization, the earthly part. So it is long-standing there is a balance here. You know, going back to the Watchtower a very long time ago, we have never considered it proper to solicit money for the Lord's cause after the common custom, referring to Christendom. It is our judgment that money raised by the various begging devices in the name of our Lord is offensive, unacceptable to him. It does not bring his blessing either upon the givers of the work accomplished or the work accomplished. So we do not need to be coerced into giving. We gladly use our money to support kingdom activities.
So the leaders of the Jehovah's Witnesses are completely okay doing this stupid, ridiculous, exhausting game where you shift the words around or shift the meanings of words around in order to accomplish whatever goal that you have. And for them, it is to collect more donations. Now, before we get to the announcement, one last clip I have to play, and that is like the nail in the coffin about how this fundamentally changes the Jehovah's Witnesses going forward. I think I spent hours trying to research for this so you guys could really get an understanding of how big this announcement is. But now that we've built that up, we have to just look at one more, because Stephen Lett specifies what it would look like and what they would never do that would sort of constitute begging for money or having a non-Christian outlook when it comes to the collecting of donations. Listen.
We don't send out monthly statements to each of Jehovah's Witnesses specifying a dollar amount that should be submitted to finance the work worldwide. Most donations, in fact, are contributed anonymously.
So according to Watchtower, they have never and would never put a dollar amount on the heads of every individual publisher within the organization. That would not be a biblical scriptural thing to do, to require a tithe or a exact amount of money per publisher. Whatever you want to call it, you're just using different words to express the exact same thing. Well, what did they say in this new announcement? Resolved monthly donation to the worldwide work. For the upcoming service year, the congregation will be presented with a resolution to donate a monthly amount to the worldwide work. The branch office uses worldwide work funds to support various activities that benefit congregations. Such activities include renovating and constructing kingdom halls and assembly halls, caring for incidents at theocratic facilities, including those involving natural disaster, fire, theft, or vandalism, providing technology and related services, and assisting with the travel cost of selected special full-time servants in foreign service who attend international conventions. Now, this section isn't to be read to the congregations. If the body of elders has determined the resolution amount referred to in the announcement for elders, the resolution should be presented now. Otherwise, inform the congregation that a resolution will be presented the following week. Well, boy, howdy. It sounds like Watchtower might be trying to hide something. I wonder whatever that could be. Why would they have something that's for elders' eyes only? Remember back in the day when they were transparent about their finances? Well, that ain't the case anymore. So this is what's going to be read to congregations, that there is this resolved monthly donation that will go to the worldwide work. But how is this number calculated? Where is this number coming from? Is this just artificially drummed up by the elders? What does this really mean? They're almost, when you say a monthly resolved and it's going through a resolution, it makes it sound like every individual member within the congregation had a say in the matter. They were able to enact this. Yeah, I think we should be able to donate this amount of money. But that is not what has happened. No, we are entering a new phase of Watchtower. We are entering the final stage of the boss fight here. So let's take a look at this leaked elders letter and see exactly where this resolution amount comes from. The resolved monthly donation referred to in the announcement for congregations is based on a monthly per publisher amount suggested by the branch office. The per publisher amount listed on the JW Hub webpage containing the link to this announcement should be multiplied by the number of active publishers in the congregation to determine the suggested monthly donation for your congregation. The body of elders should then review the congregation's financial obligations, including any monthly contributions to a Kingdom Hall operating committee, and determine whether the congregation is in a position to donate the suggested amount or more. If the suggested amount would impose a hardship on the congregation, a smaller amount should be determined. The monthly donation agreed upon by the body of elders should be presented in a resolution to the congregation for approval. Please note that the resolved monthly donation should be sent on a monthly basis, not as a single amount for the service year. Man, I'm having trouble remembering. What again did Stephen Lett say?
We don't send out monthly statements to each of Jehovah's Witnesses specifying a dollar amount that should be submitted to finance the work worldwide.
This is a historic change, and that's why I wanted to spend a little bit of time going over the history of them and donations. Remember back in the day when you could fill out a card or write a letter as an individual expressing how much you were able to give? Well, that was the person telling Watchtower how much they would be willing to give. Now the roles have completely changed. It's a 180-degree flip. Now the Watchtower is telling individuals how much they should be donating. That full stop. They are telling people and putting a number on their heads. Now, I'm sure they have some type of software that has been tracking how they are, where donations are coming from, what congregations are giving what amount. If they don't have that, that would be incredibly stupid. But I'm sure when they are going over their analytics, they're able to see which congregations are giving what and able to put those into separate little boxes. So it's like, okay, well, we can just show the Jehovah's Witness congregation A how much they should be giving, but congregation A won't be able to see how much congregation C is giving. That way, everything is completely compartmentalized. If I know Watchtower like I think I do, they will absolutely have some type of service that will do this, especially when trying to like calculate and figure things out. And that way people aren't sharing that information. Well, how is your congregation say this much, but our congregation is only this much? Surely there will be some elders that talk about that, but they'll probably keep it hush hush. But I was shocked, completely flabbergasted when I saw this, because the Watchtower I grew up with, it was a code of honor that we had where we didn't ever beg for money. And we would never have even considered the possibility of a system where Watchtower was telling us how much that we should donate per person. Absolutely crazy. So it is wild that they are only giving this information to elders, and I hope that this leaks out to most Jehovah's Witnesses, fingers crossed, so that way they can understand that this organization that they are so proud of has just put a dollar amount above your head when you walk into the Kingdom Hall, and Watchtower and the governing body are looking at you as a number that should be donating X amount of money. One of the biggest changes we've seen in Watchtower in a very long time, and I hope you guys enjoyed this sort of historical breakdown of exactly why I say that. So, thank you so much for joining me on this little journey. I got nothing else to say about this other than stay safe, be kind, and don't forget to show yourself the same kindness that you show to others. And you better have a good-ass day.